Grammarly's top 3 tips on starting an
Really want to
essay.
hear you. I'm just getting some background music ready. There we go. Okay. Hey, Jano, it's Jano. Okay, we're live. I think Theodore's in the call. He's just muted. We also have David T. Lurker and Kett waiting. And Spider, if you are 100% correct. I literally loaded up an 8-hour video of Big the Cat Lo-Fi. I had planned to do a bunch of this stuff over the weekend, but I spent most of Saturday out with Ben and his godfather, he of Sonic Says Jono fame, and I spent most of Sunday sleeping, so I didn't get a lot done.
No, you didn't.
That's what I just said. I said I didn't get a lot done, so I was hoping to get all the music stuff ready to like be nice and integrated properly. But TJ, I need you to speak a lot because I think we have the Big the Cat music and you guys on Discord coming out the same speaker. So I need to make sure that people can hear you and the music and me and everything like that. So I need you to speak for like 20 seconds.
Yayo, dreamin', don't give it up, Luffy, dreamin', don't give it up, Zolo, dreamin', don't give it up, Name, dreamin', don't so the story goes, we find out, but until with the grand line, there's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on the hill sing, I'll be king of the pirates, I'm gonna be king, yayo, ho ho, his name is Luffy, that's Buggy D Luffy, gonna be king of the pirates. He's made of rubber, how did that happen? Yo ho ho, we took a bite of gum, yayo. That do it?
Yeah, I think Spider said you're a bit loud, but I think that might just be you in general. Not really the way it's mixed, but yeah.
Yeah,
there we go. Okay, well, I've turned everything down. I'm not sure when David and Kett are going to arrive. But yeah, I think
I am currently driving.
The Sonic Symphony. I cannot wait to go to the Symphony. I'm going in Chicago. I especially can't wait since they confirmed Johnny Jewelry's going there. I'm holding out hope that our boy Jun Chinoy is going to be there as well. But Johnny Jewelry. So TJ, even though you can't see anything, I have 2 Brickheadz. I have a Sonic the Hedgehog and a Miles Tails Prowl. Which one should I do first?
Knuckles,
good point. Okay, then we'll just sit here and do nothing for 2 hours. Tails has less parts, so I'm going to do him first. He has 9 less parts than Sonic T Hedgehog does.
Well, yeah, he's like 9 parts shorter.
Not where it counts. So I forget, have you finished the One Piece Netflix show yet?
Yeah, I finished it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, because I remember you got like halfway through and you're like, I don't know if I like it or not. Nami's boobs aren't as big.
I watched the first 3 episodes like in a row, and I was kind of feeling very like mixed. I was like, I don't know. And then I ended up having to, like, over the course of like a couple days, I had to re-watch those episodes with Erin because she hadn't watched it yet. And
she wanted
after
to watch
it?
I'm surprised she wanted to watch it. I thought she didn't care for One Piece.
she just doesn't like animation. So the fact that it was live action, she was like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
She's responsible for all them goddamn fucking Disney live action remakes. God damn it, Aaron. Just watch the original Lion King, for Christ's sakes.
Now it's too old.
I like it. I like that the lion doesn't have any expressions whatsoever. Yay.
She has this, we have this running gag where, like, if I get sad over something animated, she's like, are you sad that they're going to stop drawing that character?
She stole that from Friends. That's what Chandler says about Bambi. Yeah, it's real sad when the guy stops drawing the deer.
Well, I don't watch enough Friends, so I didn't know that.
Well, now, next time she says that, you could just be like, stop copying Friends.
No, I'll just laugh.
Whoopah!
Oh, whoopah! Yeah, so like after rewatching the first 3 episodes, I was like, okay. I was like, I can kind of see like what they're going for. And then I was kind of nervous because I had heard a couple people from the One Piece podcast talk about how like episode 4 was like their like turning point where they were like, oh, this is okay. It's just not what I wanted it to be.
Oh, that's raspberry.
So episode 4, I was like, okay. I was like, I guess this is like where it's gonna like make it or break it, and I liked it. And then I liked the rest of the show too. So it's definitely not the same, but I like it for what it is.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad, dude. I am, because from what I haven't, you know, I have nothing against anime. I'm not as hateful towards it as your lovely wife is, but I don't end up watching a lot of anime, especially long running ones like One Piece. Like Jessica loves Dragon Ball, and one weekend we sat down to watch it, and we got like one disc into Dragon Ball Z, and she was the one who was like, you know what, this is taking a while. Let's watch the abridged version instead, because you can get through a lot of, you can get through like the story a lot quicker that way, you know. But I am glad, and I know I mock you for One Piece, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, and it wasn't just a big turd like apparently, the Cowboy Bebop show was. Wasn't it meant to be really bad?
Yeah, I stopped after a couple episodes because the way they were adapting things and the way that they were like playing things, I was like, I just want it to be different.
Oh, Joey, I'm glad. God damn it, Joey. Backseat Brickin I might have to change the name of the show to Backseat Brickin, because that is better. That is better than Bricks and Shits. God damn it, I may have to change the name. Fuck you, dude. Say the Neil, congratulations, homecoming hero. Oh, I'm glad you can make it. First time here. I do hate Tuxedo Mask. Tuxedo Mask is a terrible character. But, yeah, god damn it, Joey. I was all happy with Bricks and Shits, and I'm like, that's a much better fucking name. Now I gotta send you $1. Because I said on that Twitter thread, I'd send people $1 if I liked that name better.
I don't know. I like Bricks and Shits.
I like. Don't get me wrong. I do also like Bricks and Shits, but it's just like Backseat Brickin. I'm not gonna get shut down for having that title.
He likes to build Legos in an uncomfortable position.
You mean the back of a Volkswagen? One of the only good jokes Mallrats has.
Hey.
What do you mean, hey?
I like Mallrats.
I know you do, but you like a lot of bad stuff.
Is
it a wind turbine?
Fuck you, the wind turbine's not bad. The rest of the movie's terrible. Wind turbine's not.
Backseat Brickin, sponsored by that dumb birthday boy. We'll have to see if we can, have to get in contact with the guy who's in charge of the Sonic Symphony, who agreed to let me interview him. I may have to mention, be like, hey, it's my friend's birthday at the date of the Chicago show. Can you get Johnny Gioeli to personally wish him happy birthday on stage? Homecoming.
knowing Johnny, he'll be like, "Happy birthday, Johnny!"
Homecoming hero first.
Sounds like fucking shit up here.
sounds like fucking shit up here. Sounds like super shit. Let's have a look. Homecoming hero, first time chatter, long time fan. I've been with y'all since Banjo Movies. God damn, that was for me. That was like 4 homes ago. So that was a while ago. Banjo Movies. That was.
Homecoming.
I do still think that probably is the. I don't think, just in terms of like how it felt on the day, I don't think any stream TJ we ever do is gonna just top how much fucking fun Banjokus Movies was.
No, not even close.
Oh my god, that was so much fun, dude.
we were so drunk.
We were so, I don't think I've ever seen you that drunk before.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, maybe one of the cons, but that was definitely a peak for me.
That was so. I remember at some point we had to go outside. We had to like go outside to get some fresh air because we were just so drunk.
Yeah, I think it was snowing too.
No, I don't think it was snowing because it was like August time. I don't think it was snowing.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. Homecoming here, so you're gonna try and buy groceries from Kroger's? Yes, I'm paid tomorrow. I'm gonna do my weekly shop at Kroger's to drink some of those goddamn points to get that.
What is that whole?
So there is a DLC pack for Sonic Superstars, which gives a cel-shaded look to all of the characters, and in Japan they call it the comic skins, which I kind of wish the whole game looked that way, because I don't think Superstars looks bad, but I would like Mario Wonder has like a unique visual look to it. It's like Superstars just kind of looks like Sonic 4 or Generations or like Sonic or like classic Sonic in Forces, but obviously like a bit nicer with better art design. But I still would have liked like something more original, like a cel shaded look. I think would have gone a lot further. So I am going. I'm gonna try and get that because yeah, for some reason in Japan, you can get that on Amazon, as you would expect to get like a video game thing from. In America,
well, no, yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah, but like in America, what up? Who are you? That they have some like. I have no, like, I had never even heard of this, like, Kroger's GameStop stuff beforehand, so I'm like, this is so fucking weird to me.
So what, you have to buy groceries in order to get the DLC? Is that what it is?
Well, you need to unlock gamer points to unlock it, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, please, someone in the chat, but I think the only way to get them is just to buy groceries at Kroger, and then you unlock gamer points.
That sounds convoluted and dumb.
Yes, so I don't like it. Homecoming Hero says, I'm also a friend of TJ's. Any friend of TJ's an enemy of mine.
FTC have funny moments.
Tay the Neon Neko says, I thank that stream for introducing me to the Megas, and now that I've been listening through all the songs, I've been engrossed into Mega Man again and those versions of the Robot Masters. I love the Megas. I don't like a lot of the interpretations that the Megas do aren't necessarily like game accurate. Like I'm pretty sure Flashman isn't actually in love with Mega Man, but I do love all those songs. It's
Hey, you don't know that.
I don't, but I doubt it. I wish they do. I know what they said after they finished History Repeating Red, that they said it's unlikely they'd ever do like a whole album based on one game, because I think they felt that none of the other soundtracks outside of 2 and 3 were strong enough to sustain like a whole album, which I kind of get.
Which doesn't make any sense because 5 is there. So, like.
Yeah, I would actually, but I think, yeah, I mean, like, I also think it's something like you need one with like a story and everything. I would It's not the best soundtrack. I will admit this.
5 has a story.
No. But let me finish. I said it's not the best soundtrack, but I would love them to do one for 8. Because I do love me some Mega Man 8. But I think mostly like I've liked a lot of what they've been doing. Like all of their Castlevanias, like the Belmonts, and some of the like extra Mega Man songs you've been getting on some of those EPs. But like they did a cover of Electman's theme. It's one of my favorite Mega songs, but I'm blanking on what it's called. Evolution of Circuitry, I think. I know they said a while back they were toying with redoing the Mega Man 1 EP they did with Entertainment System, I think that band was called. But obviously that hasn't happened yet. But we keep getting more Belmont stuff, so I'm not complaining yet.
It's not my favorite.
No, obviously, like given the choice, I would just have them do more Mega Man songs. Jano says TJ was drunk. It might have been snowing for him. I spent $10 I can't get back because Homecoming Hero says I spent $10 I can't get back because of you. I bought Dr. Evil's Welcome to My Secret Underground Lair on Game Boy Color. Oh my god, that is a deep cut. Oh gee, I remember that. I remember that. TJ, were you there for that?
I wasn't there for it, but I'm aware of the lore.
Because we did that right before we did the Sonic Generation stream with Jason Griffith.
Oh my. Okay, maybe I was there for that.
Ty the Neon Nicker says you can get it on Amazon in the UK too. The thing that sucks about that though was that I learned this after when I first moved to America. I had a PS3 and I remember all of like DLC codes they're linked to the PSN store. So I plan to get Superstars digitally because I want to get all that stupid shit they give it to you. I just put it on one disc, so you gotta stop being money grabbing bastards. But either way, so like if I got that, I would have to the DLC. If I got it on Amazon UK, it wouldn't work. So I'm forced to use Kroger.
When's your friend gonna pick up his Sonic codes? There's a lot of codes.
There's a lot of codes in my house. Auto Daddy, good evening from England. Good evening from the motherland. It's late for you. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's not worth it. Go to bed.
I calculated the points with my crew for the Koga screens. You have to get 60. So Homecoming Hero. So what I have to do is just spend $60 in general, and that'll give me enough gamer points.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, no, well, think about it. Like, if I'm buying weekly groceries for a house of 4, $60 is nothing. I can. That's less than what a weekly shop is for me. So I will happily.
Yeah, but think about the price of the DLC.
I get that. It's a thing, but like it's. But if you think about it, for me getting these points just for buying groceries that I was going to buy anyway, it's almost like the DLC is free. In that regard, so technically, or it's $60, and I said Sue Sega.
Yeah, that too.
Think about it.
I would love if Sega was listening to your stream right now for whatever reason, and they heard you say put it all on disc, and they're like, oh, with this new Sonic game, we're giving away a special Sonic the Hedgehog statue in the game.
In the game.
It's all on disc.
Oh, the Japanese version is getting a little thing.
Let's get a thing.
It's getting a little statue thing, yeah.
I want a thing. Guys, stop! It's the same old Sonic game. Yeah, but it's got a new thing.
I want it.
It's just Green Hill all over again.
Dang it, I messed that up. I put Tails' head on backwards.
He's got 9 less pieces. How do you screw that up?
Shut up.
Good fuck.
So Theodore, are you getting Superstars?
Maybe.
Do you have Frontiers?
No.
But the final DLC comes out Thursday, and I'm taking time off work so I can play Sonic Frontiers DLC.
Thursday. That's tomorrow.
I wish it was. I wish it was tomorrow.
No. I'm still playing a lot of Warcraft, so I haven't bought any new games in here.
I get that. Again, when you get to a place when you're set up and you want to start doing streams for realsies, I will pay for Warcraft, and then that'll make Jess mad because she's like, "You ain't paying to play with me." I'm like, "Yeah, no."
Oh, that's weird.
Not that Warcraft, the one at the bottom.
At the bottom. All right. I think I have to get off here. Unfortunately.
Okay, that's code for he's home. He's not allowed to play with his friends no more.
Yeah, that's true too. We're
Okay.
only allowed to hang out once a year.
And we already used that spot 2 weeks ago. All right then. So we'll try. TJ, we'll try and have you on one where you can be in for the whole thing. But everyone, say goodbye to TJ.
Bye.
Bye. Thank God he's gone. Altered Dan. Yeah, you know what? I wanted to get all the islands done before the final DLC came out. I have not. I have not done all of the whatchamacallit. I haven't finished the bus rushes or the level rushes, but I found everything in the level. So I've like 100%ed the game proper, if that makes sense, including everything they put out in DLC 2. I plan to do the bus rushes and all that stuff at some point. It's just, you know, time is fleeting. I have seen Mutant. I loved Mutant Mayhem. I think it is one of the best Ninja Turtle movies, you know, that has ever been made. It did a few things that I was like, huh, about. Like I didn't hate it, but the ending, I was a bit like, huh, okay. I would have like no spoilers. But that's not something I would have necessarily done at the end of this movie. I kind of would have saved what they do in that ending rather for like the end of this version of the Turtles, if that makes sense. Hopefully that doesn't spoil anything too badly for anyone. I would put it on the same level. I think in terms to me, it's like mostly because I like nostalgia. I hold the original '90s one up so high, but like then it's after that it would be like maybe joint second would be like Turtles Forever. The Rise movie's really good. And Mutant Mayhem might just be slightly above the other two, but like I think those three are all roughly the same. I mean, like I think like Turtles Forever. Obviously, if you're a Turtles fan, that movie hits harder than if you're not. Like if you just went into that movie without ever having seen the Turtles before, you might just be like, all right, it's a movie, I guess. Good old Tatsu. Good old some call me Johnny. Oh, we just got an ad there. My apologies. Yeah, you know what? I don't fully understand the exact hate when people say that they hate the movie because of what they do to the 80s. There's a few jokes, a few things I would have taken out, but I'll be honest. I think the when the 80s Turtles appear in the 2012 Nickelodeon show, I think that their version there is way more insulting than the Turtles Forever was. At least the 80s Turtles are treated as like competent fighters. In that they don't have to be taught how to fight properly like they do in 2012, which I thought was a bit weird. Hey, amazing. I'm gonna say anal cyst again because I literally do not know. I've forgotten how to pronounce that word correctly. But thank you so much. I apologize. This was I mean, I had planned to do it today, but I forgot to like make a thing of announcing it again. But I'm gonna try and be better about that in the future. So we are currently making tails. We got some nice Big the Cat lo-fi in the background. I won't lie, yeah, when I got to the final island, I was just like, I want to be done with the game. So I did just go to big and just skip all the levels first time round. Same, Danny. I think 2003 is a great show. I won't lie, I think it gets a bit like it loses quality as it goes on, and that's also some of the stuff like when in like Turtles Forever, when they are like trying to talk about how crazy and wacky the 80s show is. It's just like, did you guys not watch your own show with how like fucking crazy that you guys got in your last few years?
Oil change Zion. The feeling you get when this happens.
Alright, we're getting another ad. I'm gonna have to download a version of this so I can just play the audio. Yeah, it's again. I can't wait to play Final Horizon. I don't currently have the setup here to be able to stream from my PS4. Otherwise, I would probably do something the same. I'm looking just to play it myself. Really, it just looks like so much fun. I'll let you borrow a rod. Spider, dude, I cannot wait for this. Ever since the movie came out and when they had on the DVD that little Scott Pilgrim versus the animation where they adapted a bit of, you know, unseen stuff from the movie, I have wanted them to do a full like retelling of the entire book series in animation form, and I can't wait. Like it's the fact that they got the whole cast back and it looks like they're, you know, just change, you know, they're gonna be able to adapt everything. It's just, oh man, it just sounds so cool. I love everyone calling it like an anime, and it's just like, it's just not to get all, you know, whatever, but it's just like in Japan anime just means cartoon, so stop being nerds about it. Homecoming Hero. Oh, thank you so much. The IGN cartoon list. I did with Brain. You know what's funny? I very rarely do this myself, but I actually went back and watched a little bit of that like a couple months ago. God damn, my audio quality is terrible, and I apologize to everyone involved who watched it, but... how you doing, Mads? Sup? How are you today? I would recognize that online handle anywhere, my friend. You don't have to mention Mothman for that. Well, again, it's like how could you put Optimus Primal 88? I don't. Next, that's just like why would you do such a thing? Frankenmud, I apologize. I don't. I'm not sure what you mean in reference to that. So many ads. But yes, Barbie was a great movie. No argument there. Oh, job hunting. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, job hunting does suck. Yes. Yeah, I don't love my job that I've been in for like 9 years now, but I get to work from home, which means I can work in my underwear. I pretty much watch TV when I work, so, you know, ups and downs, ups and downs. Barbie was great minus a certain comedic actor. I'm not sure which actor you mean there. I'm curious now. Which actor did you not enjoy? Oh, Will Ferrell. There you go. Yeah. Hey, but yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm very hit and miss on Will Ferrell. I don't love a lot of the movies he's been in, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, I get it. I get it. I do love him in the Lego movie though, for whatever that's worth. Yes, it was. That's why it reminded me so much of whatchamacallit, the Lego movie. Is that Mario? We get to put Tails' little wrench in his hand. If I can find the wrench. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Our boy's got some kind of technical device. Look at him go. Look at him go. Now we get to make the actual Tails is. Oh no, wait a minute. Messed that up. You ever watched the Mario movie? But that's cinema. That's art. I saw Cats Don't Dance years ago, like so many years ago. I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember it. Yeah. Yes. Oh. We go, everybody. Tails. Miles tails per hour. Just clean this up, and we will start on our boy Sonic the Hedgehog. I always get nervous when there's like a bunch of extra parts, and I'm like, did I miss something? But I think no. I think these are just legit extra parts. This one's Sonic 3. I liked Rise of the Beasts. I thought like this may not be saying anything, but I think of all of the live action Transformers movies, sans Bumblebee was the best. Like it wasn't overly stupid or, you know, sexist or racist, that type of stuff. I like that it gave Optimus Prime an arc, which is something he doesn't really have in the movies. I can understand some people not liking said arc, as it is a bit like Optimus. He's not 100% himself, but I think it is a genuine step in the right direction for the history of like this movie franchise. What that goes without saying that the '86 movie is the best. Like, come on now. This is one of the worst parts when you pour everything out and you're looking for a specific piece. Just like, oh no, I've lost it. I can't make this thing anymore, and then I will find what I need at some point. But at the moment, there we go. See, I told you I'd find it. Nope, yes, that is the piece I want. Okay. Okay, so this goes there. I don't know if I'd go that far. I like a lot of the action sequences in Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast, but unfortunately, at least Rise of the Beast still has some problems that the earlier Transformers movie did, where there's just too many characters and most of them don't have any personality. You know, it's like I love the Beast Wars characters, but it's like you could have removed Cheetor or Rhinox, because combined they have like 5 lines of dialogue and they don't really do anything. You could have just had it as Primal, Air Razor, and then given more screen time to one of the other Maximals. Same with the Autobots. I would have actually probably removed the Wheeljack, because he doesn't really add anything. And then you could have had again. Then you could have given RC some more time. And like that weird flying Autobot. Why is he a character? Just say the Autobots have access to a plane. That's what I would have done, as opposed to making him another like random Xeno-old robot. I'm like, no, Tay, I've seen it twice. Cheetor and Rhinox do get at least 1 line each. I think Cheetor has 2 lines. I think Rhinox does say 1 line. Maddie, that is Transformers 4, the first one with Marky Mark. If TJ was still here, he could do his great, hey, I think we found a Transformer. line. But yeah, that is and what the funny thing is that even though the movie there's a big thing of like showing you it up close, the little like card, apparently that's not even accurate. Like the Romeo and Juliet law as they describe it in the movie is not actually correct at all. So it's like, what the hell? Why was this in the movie for? Ultra Warrior 97, hi there, thank you for joining us. I remember I was in America, obviously, before I moved here. Years ago, I was with an old girlfriend, before my ex-wife. We were coming to America, and I was so hyped to see the first Transformers movie. We were in Boston, I think. I really wanted to. And I remember I used to post a lot on the old the UK distributor who had the license to the old G1 cartoon was a company called Metrodome, and I used to post on there a lot under the alias Decepticon King, but I had misspelled Decepticon with an A and not an I. And I remember, I think those films have been taken down now, but if not, you might find a post from me saying, "Oh, it's real good. If you're a Transformers fan, yeah, you'll love it. If you're not a Transformers fan, you might not like it as much." And I'm looking back, I'm like, "Oh, you poor jet-lagged fool. That's not a good movie." I actually think it's, in retrospect, I'd be, oh, maybe I had that reversed. Maybe I was like, if you're not a Transformers fan, you won't like it as much, because they don't really do anything with the mythos, and what they do, they don't do a very good job of it. Boston, what's wrong? Whoa, what's wrong with Boston? I've been there. I mean, I know Ted lives there, but like, what's wrong with Boston? So this is a Harvard bar. I love Good Will Hunting. Mads, I was forced to see all the Twilight movies and see the last 3 of them in the cinema, so... I've sometimes been told that my laugh can be a bit infectious, and I got proof of that when I was forced to go see what's the third one? Eclipse. The bit at the end when they rip off, spoiler alert, the bit at the end where they rip off Bryce Dallas Howard's character, what's her name, Victoria's, when they rip off her head. It was the effect was so bad and so cheap looking that I just started laughing out loud, because I thought it was just shitty looking. I just started laughing out loud, and then the entire cinema kind of joined in with me. So there we go.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? I see you're building.
You missed.
Goods.
We built David's favorite character. If you can't hear the people on the phone, we have it's Kett, and I think we're going to be joined by Mr. Miles Power himself, David T. Lurker, in a moment. But how are you doing, my friend? I've been able to. I haven't spoken to you guys probably since the drunken call we did at Skylar's wedding.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, me and him were pretty drunk back then.
Right. David and I were cleaning a big old office building when we heard that voicemail. It gave us a giggle. It was good. So you're building some bricks.
I am building, and I think, am I doing this correctly? Does that go up? Those were meant to be reversed. I don't care. Yes, building some big, and we're currently having a conversation in the chat about the old Michael Bay Transformers movies, because because they're terrible. Oh no, and we were talking about Twilight. Have you and David
Twilight fans? I'll let you wait till I'll let him answer that. I think he'll have more to say than I do. I think they're good. From a certain point of view. I certainly enjoy the riff tracks versions. I think David might be more appreciative than I about the lore of Twilight.
Yeah, David does greatly enjoy lore about things.
Indeed, he does.
First time I met him, he went on a 3-hour tangent about the lore of the David Gotcherman fanfictions. So
Always a good one.
It is. There's at this point, it's like I have no idea who this guy is, but I like want to don't let him leave because he just entertained you with the kind of insane, useless shit. I love it.
So what are you building now?
So
is it a?
So this was the Brickhead Tails, and this is the Brickhead Sonic. So I'm gonna have Sonic.
Should have known it.
So look, that's his tummy, and those are the back spikes.
Hmm.
Madison in the chat. What do you mean by that? I love it when a guy takes the engine out of my truck. I have no idea what you mean by that. Are you and David excited for Thursday?
What is on Thursday?
The Sonic Frontiers final update.
Oh shit, you're right.
I'm surprised I had to tell you that, Kett. I'm like, come on now.
I'm sorry. All I can think about is the Great British Bake Off, which airs.
You know what's funny?
And then the Great Canadian Bake Off, which airs on the 1st. Right. Okay. Well, then, yeah, I am excited for Thursday. I'm interested to see what exactly they're doing. Oh. And the Frontiers DLC.
Oh yeah. Hey, I heard Sonic's in that.
Hey, it's Mr. David T. Looker.
That's me. Hello.
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 Hello. Again, I like the fact that you haven't, like you won't return any of my text messages, but as soon as I get on Twitch, you're like, yeah, I'll join. That's fair.
Well, I replied eventually at some point, I think. Maybe. Did I?
I think I got a text. I technically got a message from you, but you did not answer any of the questions I sent you. So she's like,
That's
okay.
probably true. I think I was overwhelmed, and I was like, and then I just gave up. Let's go back. Let's go to the questions, and I'll answer them now. Were they personal? Were you asking if that rash went away?
I think they were mostly just about Sonic stuff.
Yeah. Oh, right. You asked. You asked how I was thoughts on Frontiers, and I said I enjoyed it. You asked how the story was, and I didn't respond to that.
Yep.
And then
Sounds
I
about
somehow completely missed. Oh, do you know of a website, article, or forum post that details all the changes made in Sonic Origins to the original games? I think the answer is no. Sorry. Jeez, that was a while ago. I apologize.
That's alright. I'm used to it. It's fine.
Well, I have a bad habit of not replying to texts in general. I don't know. My father likes to text me. He messages me every day. He's moved from texting me to recording himself talking in like 30 seconds to a minute bursts, but I don't reply to them. And then my sister texts me and says, "Hey, you should probably respond to our father so he knows you're alive." And then I forget to respond to her as well. It's this continuous cycle. So,
Kett, before you lived with him,
Right,
how
and then
did- how
I had
did you
another
put up with
friend
him?
who definitely. Oh,
I don't know. He always replied to me.
All right then. Okay, I see how it is. I see how it is. we're just not attractive enough to get David's attention. All right, that's fine. I see how it goes. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
uh-oh. All right, I had another friend who was like, "Hey, you never respond to me," and then I finally did start responding to him, and that's how I got my Ninja Turtle comics back.
Oh yeah, you went. What was the? I remember there was some live stream you mentioned your Ninja Turtle comic. That's good for you. You got them back. Good for you.
I did finally get him right. What it was is that years and years ago, we're talking. Wow, probably closer to a decade, if not. I forget exactly how long. Yeah, there was once upon a time I went to Ohio, not to see you, because I don't think I even really knew you. I didn't know you at this point.
You never
I knew
come to
Skylar.
see
I
me.
didn't know you. What?
You never come to see me.
Oh well, now I'm too far away.
Excuses.
But right, so I went to Ohio because I had a friend, and he said, "Hey David, you should go to Ohio. There's this girl who I think you'd get along with really well." And the only reason he gave was, "Oh, she likes the Ninja Turtles." And I went, "Okay." I mean, I also like the Ninja Turtles, but that doesn't mean much.
Relationships have been based on less in the past.
Right. Well, she was friends with the girl he was dating at the time, and so I went down there. I mean, this was many years ago. She was, like I was 20 something, and she was in college. And I went there. I'm trying to remember if I even did I sleep there? I mean, I slept on the floor. We didn't do anything. Like, I went there. We talked a little bit on the internet. She was like, "What's wrong with boys?" And I'm like, I don't know.
What's right with them? Am I like?
No. She was having some trouble with I guess guys because she felt like she wasn't. She was upset that the guys she liked wanted her to be more female presenting, I suppose. Although her comparison shots, she sent me a picture. It was her in like a hoodie. And she's like, "Why don't boys like this?" And instead they like this. And then she sent me another picture without the hoodie. And I was like, huh. You didn't do much. You just took off your hoodie. So I was a little confused by that. It doesn't matter. I went down to Ohio and I brought my Ninja Turtle comics. Because I'm like, if this is the only thing we share, how about I bring them? They can be a talking point. And I had them, and she glanced at them for like 5 minutes, and then spent the rest of the time, like on the phone with some guy, trying to reconcile whatever they had going. And I just sort of sat there going, huh? And all of her friends went, "Wow, she's kind of a bitch, isn't she?" And I went, I mean, I don't know her really, do I? So I was like, okay, this is it. This is done. I'm going to go home. But for some reason, I went, hey, since you didn't get to look at those comics, I'll leave them here and I'll get them later. And she was like, okay.
Rookie mistake.
Very rookie mistake. Right, because I left and she stopped talking to me. And I went, huh, my comics. Now, the only reason I got them back is because she was still friends with my friend's girlfriend. And then when they were like getting ready to move, they were moving from Ohio down to Florida at the time, like the friend went to that girl's house or whatever and was like, "Hey, those Ninja Turtle comics, they're not yours, are they? Like, we need them back." And so I did get they took them to Florida. I mean, I had seen this friend at some point in between, but he never brought the comics, and then he moved from Florida out to Oregon. And years pass, and then eventually we are in close geographical proximity again. I had brought up the comics before, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I have them. They're somewhere." At some point they were in a closet. At some point they were under his bed. But he was like, "Wow, I've still got them." So finally, a couple months ago, he drove up here, and I was like, "Oh wow, I haven't seen you in forever." And he had the comics, and I went, "Oh wow," and they were still. Well, it looked like she hadn't touched them ever. Like I just left a bag of comics, and they were in the same order. They were in the same bag. They were just exactly the way I left them. And I got very excited because a couple of those comics were the first comics I ever bought or ever got as a child. Because there's some Mirage comics in there. There's some Archie Ninja Turtle comics in there. It's a mix. It's a mix of ones that probably cost too much to buy now. So I wanted them back. I got them back. I have, hey, like.
David, I genuinely love
mean,
the
some
fact
of
that this is our first conversation in like a year. You're just telling me this story.
Oh, okay.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah. Okay, right. What is the issue that? Let me look it up real quick. I mean, I could just walk over and look at them, but I'm being lazy.
I'm going to go
right.
to the chat. Joey almost got banned for saying ADHD is a real motherfucker, but I agree with that. Good job. Oh, hey, Sabrina. Hey, Sabrina, how you doing? I see Kett did her first chat and thing. I'll come to see you if you drive into West Virginia during September. Why would I Mad, why would I drive to Texas to drive to West Virginia? I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. David, how did you see Mutant Mayhem?
I haven't seen it yet. No. Been very bad at going to the movies. I've just sort of been. I feel like any movie I see, it's after it's come to digital.
No, I get that.
What's the last movie we saw in a theater? Was it Sonic 2?
Sonic.
It was Sonic 2, yeah. Right, because we saw Sonic, and I guess that was probably like the last movie we saw before lockdown. And Sonic 2 was like the first movie we went, yeah, let's go sit down in a theater. Is that really the only one we've seen since in the theater?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't like another one? No, we saw Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah. I guess
Return of the Jedi is the last.
A new film.
That's not a new movie, right? Right. So the last movie we saw in a theater. Yeah, for its 40th anniversary, they did a brief re-release. So that was like in May. And so we've just kind of been lazy about seeing movies in theaters since then, because it was like, oh, Barbie came out, really want to see it. Didn't see it in theaters, and it was like, yeah. Right. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventures issue number 15 with a cover date of October 1990. Of course, it was released prior to October, because cover dates are never the date they're released, at least in the US. I know in the UK, for some reason, they put real dates on the book, which is weird.
Because we do, shit correctly in the UK. Just saying.
Right. Well, the idea in the US, right, in a comic, like, oh, this is the cover date, that's how long it's supposed to stay on the magazine rack. So if it says October, you leave it there until October, and then you, I guess, toss it.
So it's more like the pull date.
It's the pull date. It's not the release date. Oh wait, is this loud? I'm sorry. I have a typey keyboard. I completely forgot. It's new, so I haven't really streamed with it. I have the quieter keyboard is also near me. What was I looking up? Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you the exact release date. of issue 15. This is important information. It was released August 7th, 1990. So presumably sometime between August and October of 1990 is when I got that issue, because that's when it was there. And you can tell because it's very flat now.
What does that mean? It's very flat.
Well, you know, like you have a comic and it sort of has binding, but then like
Oh yeah.
eventually
oh, I
at some
gotcha,
point
I
it just
gotcha.
sort of gets, you know,
Just
because
loses,
when you're a
just
child
loses the will
and
to
you
live.
just
I get you.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I get that feeling a lot, don't you?
I didn't know what a bag and a board was. It was like that's.
It's just fucking.
It was just the
comics.
turtles.
It just
It's
provides an extra step between you and the comic.
Right. So that was like the these the Archie Ninja Turtles that was like the first comics I got as a child. And then there were a couple random Superman and Batman things that I got from like not a comic shop, somewhere random. And then I think why am I it doesn't matter. Okay. So right, the first right, so I guess I started paying attention to comics because of the death and return of Superman. That's what it was. Yes. I started watching the old black and white George Reeves show on Nick at Night in reruns because I wasn't alive in the 50s.
You what?
No, I know.
Could afford me.
I look it, but no.
I am
Right,
legit missing.
so-
I am legit missing a piece to finish this thing. They have
What?
not provided me enough. You see this piece here, this flat piece to cover up Sonic's head. It's supposed to be another one to go here, but unless I've knocked it off the table, I cannot see where that bastard is. Now I'm gonna go. Now I'm gonna go to Denmark and do what Eggman couldn't do and destroy the Lego company. Well, there we go.
All right. Did it fall so wait, it's missing. Was it like accidentally is it in the table?
Is it in the? It glitched into the table.
Did you swallow it?
I
Right, did
wish.
you accidentally were you like, "Oh man, I'm a little peckish." Oh. This doesn't look important. Clump.
I'm gonna you two vamp for a second. I'm gonna look on the floor in case I knock. Normally I can see when I knock something off the table, but who knows? We'll be back in a second.
Well,
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Brickheadz.
Brickheadz.
Sonic looks like he's seen some things.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does look like
Oh, there's Tails in the back.
he's just like, "Oh, guys."
Yeah, he somehow looks less startled than Sonic.
Sonic obscured his vision, so he didn't have to see the worst of it. Set number 40,627. It's suggested ages 10 and up.
Nope. I will.
No.
I will be the first to admit when it's my fault for something fucking up. But no, they legit did not give me the correct
Yeah.
pieces in the box. So we have a misshapen Sonic now. Thanks a lot, Lego. So David,
Yes. Hello.
how did what do you think of the Sonic Frontier story?
Oh, I'll let you know in a few months.
Okay. Oh,
all
wait
right,
a minute. I apologize. I apologize. First time chat. Nubatron. Maybe double check you didn't mistakenly use it instead of another piece on the figure. Oh, you genius. That's exactly what I did. I did fuck up. My bad. Let me quickly put that there. And then I put this bad boy over yonder. And then, oh, then another piece fell off. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, where did you come from? You went on there. Okay, don't fall off. There we go. Nubatron,
You've done
you
it.
absolute
Okay.
fucking
Well, now
genius. There we go. There, they're done. Sonic and Tails. Sonic and Tails.
Yeah.
Together forever. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Ah, right. All right. Well, now I can tell you what I think of Frontiers. 'Cause you finished Sonic. I really enjoyed. I don't know. I enjoyed Frontiers. I think I enjoyed the story, even though there's a couple things about it that I thought were weird, but I think I've gotten over it. And I'm curious to see on Thursday what they do to it. So it is like, I guess there's this last chapter, because they've promised there's more story, right? It's like stuff's happening.
It sounds like to me that, because I think even when the game came out, and forgive me, I forget the name of the director, Mr. I know it begins with an M, my bad. But like, I think even he was like, yeah, the ending.
Kishimoto
was like, even he was like, yeah, the ending isn't exactly great. Based on what they revealed in like the press release, I think this is just gonna be. This is just gonna replace the final boss. I'm not foreseeing a lot of new stuff in this. You know.
Right. I mean, because depending on how it is, if it's an epilogue, okay, that's fine. Timeline's fine. If it's we're rewriting things, oh no, timeline split. What am I supposed to do with that?
But you love your
What are you doing
timeline
with-
splits, don't you?
No, not when it comes to Sonic. Yeah. You must remember, once upon a time, I was like, oh, I have this idea where it was this whole thing about like a pocket universe and Forces wasn't actually canon and such to fix the problems about how Sonic could be from the past in an alternate dimension and blah blah blah. Frontiers ruined that headcanon very soundly, but at the same time, Sega also went, oh yeah, classic Sonic's from the past, so there is no like
the dimension
tangent,
stuff,
and it's
yeah.
like, okay, right, so it's like, okay, so I think this is fine, but it doesn't work 100%. But I mean, to me, it's simpler just to say Sonic, and it's like it starts nebulously in Sonic 1, and it's the same Sonic throughout. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think about Sonic
Every day, so do I. It's like, in terms of Frontiers, it's like I don't think the plot itself is anything to write home about. I think the actual story of Frontiers is somewhat generic, but not like a lot of people, not everyone, but like a lot of people, I greatly loved like the dialogue. I think Ian Flynn did a great job with the dialogue. I know he said one of his mandates, not from Sega, but he wanted to try and bring some kind of like cohesion to the greater Sonic narrative, which I know some people were like didn't love all the references he did, and you know, I won't. He maybe did,
right.
He maybe did like went a bit overboard with that, but
he might.
But I still love it. It's
right.
the fact that for the first time since generations, are they referencing their own story canon? So I was very happy with that.
Yes, it is. I mean, I like the fact that they're trying to make the connections and say this is all one universe and all these things matter, and you know, like I don't mind if it's you know, if games are standalone, like you don't need to have, oh, this is a 6 game arc.
Oh, I agree.
But you know, at the same time, it is nice if they like. Right, I don't mind some episodic games, but I do like a sense that there might be some sort of overall serialized type narrative. So Frontiers is sort of like it feels like a good first step on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
If the next game is also just a lot of random references, but they don't really mean much, it's going to feel a little the same.
I
so
agree.
either
I agree with that.
yeah, right. So if it is if it's like, oh, there's some references, but it's because maybe plot things connect. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I mean, I guess it's okay to say like Frontier spoilers. The game's been out for almost a year at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going to assume most people, I mean, even Sabrina in the chat said, I'm not a Sonic fan, but I played the game. So I think most people here have played it. I think you're in good company.
right,
To spoil it here. Yeah.
right. Yeah, you know, like right, because there's certain things like you know, with the ancients and like how they connect visually, and I guess, you know, a little bit narratively to how, you know, to the Chow,
Well,
to Chaos.
that
to all of those
was
things, like-
Ian Flynn's suggestion. Because
yeah.
well, I guess because like Sega came up with the ancients, and Ian Flynn was, I guess,
Right.
I guess he was like, can we not have another random alien species? Can we have this tie into the greater narrative? That's why he pushed for them to be like the ancestors, or for basically for them just to look like Chaos, even though it doesn't really make a like it doesn't track amazingly well. But I appreciate the fact that I appreciate the fact
Yeah.
that he was like, let's have this mean something. Let's not just introduce another race that's going to be ignored after this game. So I do kind of appreciate that.
Right. Right. I was having a conversation with someone, and there was this brief moment where it was like, wait, what if he had tried to tie in things to the Babylonians? And it's like, oh, you know, because we know they went on a spaceship, they arrived on Earth, they hid their spaceship, being, you know, Babylon Gardens. It's like, well, what if you had tried to integrate whatever the Babylonians are in their
The
history?
only thing I can think of is I'm not 100% sure those are canon with the main franchise. That's the only I would have been fine with it, but I also think generally to the average Sonic fan, even though the Babylonians have been in more games, I think more people are gonna react to like being a connection to Chaos versus the Babylons, you know.
I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, Sonic Adventure is better known than the Riders franchise, but it is sit there, and I think to Sega, like, if Ian Flynn sits there and says Spinball is canon, then Sonic Riders would have to be canon. Like, I don't think it makes sense for Spinball being canon because
Well,
it has to be
it's-
completely different than what's presented to us. But
that's Ian. A lot of times now he is acting on, because he's part of that lore team, you know, like he's reacting to things that Sega have said. I think yeah, for him, if Ian were to sit down and try to map out some kind of actual connected storyline for this franchise, he probably would leave out games like Labyrinth and Spinball and like Fighters and all that crap. But I think Sega internally have now decided their own canon, which I guess includes Spinball, because they included it in Origins. It's canon now, you know.
I mean, they included it, but they also didn't include it. Origins is a big old
They included
ball of something.
They included the location. What's that? The Vegomatic Fortress or something like that. Some weird name.
Right. It's still funny that the actual game isn't there. Well, okay.
Well, technically it is the game. The Game Gear version's there. Were you a fan
That's
of
not
Origins?
the real one.
Were you a fan of the
What?
Like, did you like Origins?
I think Origins is fine, but I don't think it's the collection it should have been.
No, fair, completely.
Like, okay, it's nice that Sonic 1, it's nice that the Sonic 1 and 2 ports were finally taken off of mobile, and also like the Fire Stick, right? Were they on the Amazon Fire Stick as well?
Didn't you guys do the FTCR OP on that didn't you record it off the Fire Stick version?
No,
Something like
I used the decompilation, so I played it on the PC.
Oh, okay,
when I
okay.
recorded those. Yeah, no, I did those, and then Yeah, like it's nice that it exists, but I think one, I'm sort of let down on how the museum functions and how it's presented.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you've so like one of the little sticking points I have, which is they throw like there's concept art in there, this brand new concept art. There's stuff there from Sonic 3 that we've never seen before because they had never shown off any Sonic 3 concept work before this game, and it's really neat. You get to see like the outline that Yasuhara made of all the zones and how they flow together, like the hint of Knuckles was supposed to have an exclusive zone. You see the early concepts of what the rival is meant to be before they decided, oh hey, it's an echidna. Like there's all this stuff, and because I know Sonic, I can infer like, oh, Yasuhara made that and what this is and what that is, but it's all covered in Japanese and none of it's translated, and none of it says, oh hey, Yasuhara, the designer of the game, made this, or hey, like whatever other artist worked on it. None of that's there. There's no context for what any of this means, and so it makes me think to like the Cowabunga collection.
I was just gonna say that, David. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, they should have laid it out more like that, because that really is that really is the Cowabunga collection. Probably is going to be held up on a pedestal as the best like compilation game ever. It's so well done that.
Yeah, I know some people complain about like button latency. I guess to me, like that doesn't. I haven't noticed it as much. I haven't played it a ton, but it is like that doesn't seem to bother me as much as say the fact that the Origins Museum is just a mess, and also the UI is sort of a mess in general, and like the time attack stuff is buried in a menu that you wouldn't even think is meant to be the time attack menu. Like there's all these little things that make Origins not feel like a great collection. Instead it's a mostly competent. I think Plus fixed some things, definitely. Like it did fix Sonic 3 and Knuckles and made it feel more like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is meant to feel. Origins Day 1, when it came out, I played through Sonic 3 and I'm like, there's things that feel so wrong here. And I don't remember having that same sensation when I played like the retro engine versions of Sonic 1 and 2, and I had played those games to death. CD, like, I didn't play it as much as the other ones because when I was a kid I didn't have it. And then when I did get it, it was on the PC.
Also,
and like,
it's a worse game.
I didn't have a controller, so I was using... Right, so it's coming from a different place. So like the 2011 version, I don't have the same sort of comparison, but to the Genesis game,
totally. Yeah. I mean, I was in the same. I mean, I truthfully like I played like 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles religiously as a kid, but I probably like obviously like some of the bigger issues I could tell, but I'm not as like this specific jump in Chemical Plant Zone. Sonic jumps 1 pixel shorter than he did in the original game. Like I'm not that level of this is wrong compared to the originals, but like a lot of the big stuff,
right?
Obviously, I would, I knew, and I agree. I think, especially with Origins Plus, they did. I like all the updates they did to that. You know what my biggest issue with Amy is as a character? It's nothing to do with how she plays, but I wish the sound effects of her hitting stuff with her hammer didn't sound like a child's squeaky hammer. I wish it had like a crunchier sound effect for when you jump and like hammer stuff in. That's my biggest complaint with Amy Rose in the Origins Plus.
Yeah, no, that the sound effect is a little weird. I'll give you that. It's I mean, there are other sound effects that exist. Like if you don't want to use the adventure ones, there's an effect from Fighters, right? She has her hammer. There must be a sound effect. I can't think of it offhand, but if you just compress that into, hey, this is what it would sound like in a Genesis, why not? I don't know why it's a different sound.
I would even just take one of like the sound of like, just use the original Badnik. Use the same sound effect that Sonic has, because it just makes it sound weaker, and I don't like that for some reason.
Right, because the sound is not, oh yeah, that's Sonic. The sound's coming from Sonic. It's the sound of the robot breaking, isn't it? So it would still have to make the same sound. I guess they just wanted it to be different, and so that's why there's a couple things that just course, I can't think of them offhand, but there are a couple things where I'm like, oh, you did that because you think you're fixing it, but I don't think you're really fixing it. There are a couple where I appreciated it. The extra animations for Sonic on the Carnival Night Barrel,
Yeah,
I think
all
do
the extra
help
animations, I
the
love
player
it. I
go,
love it,
oh
yeah.
there's something going there. A lot, yeah, like a lot of the extra animations I think are nice. It's yeah, but there are definitely things that throw me off. It got better in Plus, but I don't think it's not 1-to-1, and that is the spinning tops in Marble Garden. The first time I got to them, I was just like, what is happening here? This is so wrong. There was no like sense of there was no like on the Genesis, you hit it, you get this sense of tactile resistance. Like you have to push that forward button to make things go, and then you have like very tight control over it. In Origins, it just goes. And I mean the ones where you have to like manually lift it from the ground, not the ones where it automatically goes.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I'm already in the air. I shouldn't already be in the air. Oh,
No,
I
I
don't
get
have
you, yeah.
real good control over this. It takes forever for me to lift back up. It's better in Plus, but it's still not quite
Marble
right.
Garden,
And that's that sort of thing.
it's a shame because like, I know this is not a common view, but Marble Garden is one of my favorite zones in Sonic 3, and yeah, at least like day one Origins, it was fucked a lot. There was a lot of things wrong with Marble Garden. They still they still haven't fixed like when you first like enter it, you go into a ball, you pick up all that speed, and then you would end up in that platforming section. That's still not there yet. Like they've still fucked that up. Why haven't they fixed it?
Right. If you just let Sonic go, he doesn't go where you think he's supposed to go. There are some instances. Right, day one Origins, it felt like, oh, this is Sonic 3 being ported into Mania, as opposed to we rebuild Sonic 3. So things that exist in Mania, like even you get hit and the way the rings like explode out of you and the way they stick around, like, yeah, how they act in Mania is fine because that's its own game. It doesn't have to be the exact same because it is different. But then when you say, oh, here's Sonic 3, and it feels like, oh, things control like Mania or physics react like Mania, that is stuff that really throws you off, especially if you've been playing this game for almost 30 years. Oh god, old.
So we got someone
and
in the chat. Sorry, one up commentaries. Good guy.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. He says, to you, would you say Origins is worth it at this point? I would. Honestly, my view would be, especially with all the fixes and additions that Plus did. Unless you are like a hardcore, you know the ins and outs, like a lot of people on Sonic Retro. If you're just like a somewhat casual Sonic fan, or you played them as a kid, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, unless you can really pinpoint the differences, I don't think. Which is, I put myself in that camp. I think it's fine. There are still issues. Like I would love for them to do one more update to include the improved soundtracks from the 1 and 2 original iOS release, the improved looping sound effect, looping music in CD, and just fix 3 and K. Because I mean, I'm not talking about like the Michael Jackson music we're never gonna get again, and that's fine. But like 3 and K still sounds so compressed, like musically. Like just because because they just did the they finally fixed the visuals. They put that what they call it, that pixel perfect or near pixel, whatever that best friend pixel thing.
They let you turn off the filter,
and now it looks good. Because Origins always looked kind of fuzzy since day one, even in the original release of Plus. So I'm like, I would just give us one more update to fix the audio. I would also like a somewhat fix to the menus, like you said, to make things better to navigate. I would love it if they could just put some of those like the debug mode cheats, just put them on the front on like the main menu as like an extras thing, like the Cowabunga collection. Let's do that, because I don't want to have to do fucking debug mode every time I go into a game to use like I don't know, like the
Right.
the Insta Shield in Sonic 2. You know, just let me have that as an option for all the games, please.
Yeah, they should like there really should be consistency across the board when it comes to the UI and the menus and like what is um like the fact that you can't have there's no extra lives in anniversary mode, but there are like there's extra lives in classic mode, but the only difference is one's 4:3 and one's 16:9. There is also the bit of me, the preservationist historian. It's like, you know, we get the Christian Whitehead versions. You know, you could say those are the best ones, but that means like the original game as programmed
Classic
by
mode should have been
Sega.
the original. Classic mode should have just
Right,
been a like, you know, maybe make it look nicer, but they should have that should have just been ROMs of the originals. I agree with you. Like I completely I agree.
yeah,
with you on that,
like I know like the big sell is 16:9 rebuilt from the ground up. Yeah, that is the big sell, but you should still have the option to play the original ROMs. I know with Sonic 3 it would be funny, but hey, like if you got they got headcanon on there, and if there's one thing I know Stealth can do, it's dig into a ROM and change some music. Like it wouldn't have been hard to get them to do that.
Okay, and that ties into something one up commentary said. Stealth actually did do the 3 and K remake for Origins. Taxman didn't because he's busy making that really cool looking yo-yo game that I can't wait for. But yes, Stealth did. Stealth and his team.
Right, Penny's big break adventure.
Yeah. But yeah, what's Stealth? Yes, is Stealth's team Headcanon? Is that what his like company's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
yes. Headcanon worked on the 3 and K remaster.
Right. They also did the Blue Spheres and new Blue Spheres. So much Blue Spheres.
That's the thing. That's something where it's like I appreciate that, but I almost feel like that should have been something that came in like Origins Plus. I almost wish that the time they spent making that was spent doing something actually working on the game proper itself, you know.
All right. There's also one thing that bothers me, and it only bothers me in one way. Okay, so you know in Sonic 3 there's a 2-player mode, right? And
Yes.
it's those looping levels. And so when you do them in Origins, if you do it by yourself, it's full screen. It's like this is the full zone. Isn't that neat? But then when you do 2-player, it squashes it like Sonic 2 2-player. Even though the Sonic 3 2-player, the whole idea is we made the level art small so it doesn't look squashed. And then on the Genesis or / Mega Drive, you would do the like it would just be you're on top and nobody's on the bottom half of the screen if you're doing like time attack.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they threw out the original art and it's squashed like Sonic 2 really bothers me.
That's one thing I wish, maybe not wish, but like that I think a fun thing would have been to just add like 4-player time attack, like racing modes to all the games.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I am not a programmer by any means, but I would imagine that that might not be the hardest thing in the world to do. If I'm wrong, please tell me I'm an idiot. But it just seems like it'd be something
they did
kind
it
of
in
easy.
Mania.
Exactly, they did it in Mania, and like it's already there for Sonic 2. Like I probably wouldn't play it much, but I think that would have been a cool thing to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think there would be no issue in doing it. It's simply time and money. Because if Mania did it, and it's the retro engine, it's still the same engine. If Mania can do it, Sonic, the other Sonic games can do it too. It just would have needed a bit more care and attention, because there's also little discrepancies between 1 CD and 2 and 3 and Knuckles, because while Headcanon did all of Sonic 3, they weren't the ones who tweaked the first 3 games and implemented them into the overall Origins package.
Yeah,
I mean,
wasn't it Sonic Team? Wasn't it Sonic Team who actually did that themselves?
Yeah, and so I think that also kind of hurts it a little bit, because it's not just one team doing everything. And so like the little quality of life things and updates that could have come into the first 3 just don't happen. Like there's Like, it would have been nice if those three would have, like, whatever, like, little bugs or little oddities, like in Sonic 1, the fact you can't hit Eggman in the first boss until he's already swinging that wrecking
He's
ball.
normally dead
like,
by then in most games, you know. But when most
Right,
people
like, you're
play Green Hill Zone, he's normally dead by the time he swung the ball around twice.
right, and so the fact you don't get to do that, it's like, oh, something must have not been turned on to let you hit him up to that point. And if one team had gone through and done it all, I feel like headcanon, or if in some alternate reality Evening Star had been involved, like, they would have fixed that and made it more like the original. But then we don't get that. And yeah, I mean, I still think Origins is worth it if you want it all in one place. But I also kind of wish it, like, Sonic Jam, it felt like Sonic Team was very acutely aware of the fact of what, like, Sonic meant and what Sonic would mean in the future, and they were like, we're putting together this game to show you why Sonic is important, and like what the history sort of is behind it. Still in the limitations of what a Saturn game could do, you only have the 4 games, but the fact that there's, like, the commercials and, like, an actual timeline of everything that's come out up to that point, even some obscure things, and there are obscure videos, and here's all the art, and here's all this, like, it was presented as very much like this is a living museum, even because it's Sonic World.
Yes. That is
and
what,
Sonic,
like,
yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, go on.
I'm sorry. I'm like, I like, that's something I was just asking Flynn to do, or you just get, like, someone, either someone like Ian Flynn or someone who, like, one of the oldest Sonic fans, just to do a basic timeline. Like, the Kirby 20th anniversary did it on the Kirby's Dream Collection on the Wii. Like, it's not, like, incredibly detailed, but it goes through every year and it points out, like, here's something important that happened in the world, here's something that Kirby did, just something like that, exactly. And it's
That's right.
But yeah, I loved. I would on the Sonic Jam, I would go and read that, even though, but by the time I got it, it was already like 3 years out of date. I would still, like, just go through, and they mentioned stuff like when Sega was, like, sponsoring like the Formula 1 racing cars, and, like, Sonic was like a mascot on, like, the uniforms and stuff. Like, they would mention all that kind of stuff whenever the comic books or TV shows first started airing. They when they mentioned the OVA and stuff. Like, give Ian Flynn some money to write, like, a 10-page history of, and put that on the thing with some nice pictures and images. Like, they could have done so fucking much more with Origins. It's not as bad as Colors Ultimate, but that's another one when I'm like, they could have done. Colors was, like, one of my favorite games, and after Colors Ultimate has now made me like the original Colors less. That's how much of, like, a shitty job Blind Squirrel Gaming did with that game.
Right. Yeah, the oh man, what was I gonna say? Right, yeah, I just I guess also, like, could bring up, I don't have it. I want to get it at some point, but, like, I guess even beyond the Cowabunga collection, there's that Atari 50th collection, which, like, goes even deeper into presenting it as a historical, like, it's almost documentary. Like, there's plenty of videos and behind the scenes. Like, this is, why is Atari important? That's what this compilation is, and that's what it's telling you. And I want that with Sonic. Like, we should get that. We should have, especially now when it's like, oh, you don't have to cram everything on a CD. You have essentially limitless space, but also it wouldn't be that difficult to shove, say, every game that was released between 91 and 97 featuring Sonic the Hedgehog. You put him there. I mean, even the newest Pac-Man collection still has a bit where it's like, here's an interactive arcade, you can make Pac-Man walk around. Like, you did that with Jam. I don't know why you won't ever do that again. You could do it, like, yeah, just something really polished, really nice, that embraces, like, all the extra stuff, all the behind the scenes and things. Like, that's what appeals to the hardcore Sonic fan. And then just saying, oh, here's all the Sonic games, is what appeals to maybe someone who's casually into Sonic, or is like, I vaguely remember this. And I I just don't know why they don't push it more. I know Pix and Love announced a special edition just recently that's supposed to have a book with
I
it.
hate the fact
but I
that
don't.
I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that I'm gonna buy that special edition.
Right, and I don't know what's in that book. I don't know if it's just going to be like, oh, here's all the pictures that are in the game on paper. Will it have?
I'd welcome. You know what? I'm not gonna. I would actually welcome that. I would. As long as they're high quality images, I would welcome that.
All right, I just get a little nervous because hey, Pix and Love, they released a Sonic book before the 25th anniversary art book, and I was not the biggest fan of that book. I thought it was a little messy and a little not.
They had multiple pages that were just a blown up sprite, and then they would have other pages where they have a bunch of like high quality artwork all shrunk down multiple. It's like what are you? Who was your editor on this thing? Why are there multiple fucking pages of like a Motorbug sprite? Give us the full pages of the high quality artwork, please. You know.
Right, that's what you'd think they do. I think maybe part of it was, oh, this is an art book, but we also want it to feel arty. Like having a page with a blown up sprite feels like, oh, this is a print you would buy and you'll hang it up next to your Andy Warhol soup can.
No, nobody's
gonna buy
a print of a Motorbug sprite on a garishly neon pink background. No one's buying that. No one's buying that.
You never know. Someone might. But that's what it felt like. That's what the book felt like to me. And because it was like, oh, here's stuff, but you're also not translating the Japanese. You're not really giving me context. There's a page which is like, here's some random concept art for other Sonic games. And it's like, oh, what games? Because I think there's like at least one image in there where you don't really know what it's from. There's a couple, I think, that are clearly meant to be like chaotics back when it was just Sonic. The whatever you wanted to call it, Crackers Stadium, what have you. And it's like, oh, is this one? There's this one orphan piece where it's like, is that from that game or is it from something else? There's also the super confusing, here's the Japanese Sonic 2 box with the American Sonic and Tails on it for some reason, and it's like, no, that's wrong. Who made this? Where did it come from? Please explain. Like, somebody went out of their way to make this.
Did Dark Horse make this? The people who made the encyclopedia? Here's an approximate. No, I'm making a joke. Like, here's an approximation.
No, not Pix and Love. I keep on saying Pix and Love. Pix and Love made the 20th anniversary book. It's oh no, wait, what are they actually called? Who's releasing it?
Who's releasing what?
Am I getting confused? Hold on. I'm getting my companies confused, I think. So I'm looking it up real fast. Oh, Cook and Becker made the book. Wait, so who's doing the? Have I just been misremembering?
No, you know what? I think Pix and Love are doing the Origins Plus special edition, but yeah.
Okay. They did the 20th anniversary book. Oh, so I'm complaining about someone else. Sorry.
Either way,
right, so the 20th
anniversary
of Sonic book is fine.
Yeah, I like that book.
Oh,
wait.
Oh, if it's the 96th page, yes. If it's if the 96 pages might just be some copy and paste from the History of Sonic book. If that's what it is, that's even more annoying because that book's existed for over a decade now, and there are things in it that even at the time were slightly wrong. I remember when that book was published, I went through it and I was like, oh, okay. There's definitely one image that I know was taking. I mean, some of them were just taken straight from Retro, because there is a picture of a Sonic 1 advertisement with a watermark in the corner. And I'm like, why is there a watermark in the corner? And it says like Sega Forever or something, and that's before. And I'm like, why is there this watermark? And I'm like, oh, because for some reason the copy we have on Retro has a watermark. Why does it have a watermark? It shouldn't have a watermark.
But wasn't
like,
it? David, wasn't it? Did the encyclopedia have? Wasn't it for like 3D blast? Like, here's an approximation of the North American box art. Why not just use the North American box art? Didn't the encyclopedia do a bunch of that crap as well?
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I'm blaming you for that, because you're thanked in that book. So everything wrong with that book is your fault, my friend.
No, I'm afraid that there would be more things wrong in that book if it wasn't for me. Right, where's that at?
We're gonna have to get David drunk once on these streams where he can just spill all the tea about all these Sonic projects he's been involved with.
Right, yeah, it's in the upper right-hand corner. It says Sega Forever. That's so weird. Okay, anyway, but basically what it is that, I did some sort of like comparing and contrasting. Okay, so any box art that says this is a recreation in the encyclopedia instead of the actual box art was provided to that company, I think, from Sega, because the same wrong box arts are used in the Pix and Love book from 2011. And if it's the exact same fake image, it had to have come from a source.
But why would
and
Sega
the only source...
have incorrect? Why wouldn't Sega have their own box art for?
My guess is maybe one day in 2009, an intern went to Google and typed Sonic R box art and found a recreation and saved it and put it into a folder, and that's the image they've been using for the last 20 years or 10, 12 years.
But why is nobody at Sega or anyone working on that book at Dark Horse fix it?
Somebody must have noticed, because like, right. Well, the right box art is used in Origins, so, and I think that's because wasn't it Arlan, the guy who was also running the, I think he might have scanned them. I could be wrong. It's from the Sega Forever people, and they were paying a bit more attention.
I know that
to those sort of things.
my buddy Adam Tuff, he provided the scans for the European version of Knuckles Chaotix, and he's in like the special thanks for Origins. So like the images of the Knuckles Chaotix European box art are directly from Adam Tuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's it's funny. Oh, also, I should point out, Tay, the Neon Neko, Knuckles Chaotix was re-released once on the Game Tap service that was available through Real Arcade. You remember? You know, the makers of Real Player? That's right. You could play it on Game Tap.
Why do you think they never, like not even like a cheap ROM like re-release? Why do you think they've never done anything with Chaotix for?
32X emulation is hard, according to Sega, probably. I think, right, so the original Mega Collection, Sonic Mega Collection, was supposed to have CD on it, and they didn't. And the reason that I guess must be the truth is that, trying to emulate the Sega CD is just a bit too hard, and we can't figure that out right now. And I think the 32X adds a layer of complexity, and even though it has been emulatable, on private computers,
I mean, like that's how we all played it for the FTCR LP. I thought none of us were playing it on original 32X hardware.
You didn't buy an original 30. What are you doing?
No, I bought a Raspberry Pi that came with preloaded. That's how I got to play Knuckles Chaotix.
You plugged Knuckles Chaotix into a Raspberry Pi and somehow it worked. That's interesting.
I mean, like, aside from the fact that game's terrible, but Sega, that hadn't stopped Sega re-releasing terrible games in the past. So I genuinely wonder why they've never bothered doing that with Chaotix at all.
I think it is, I think it's just they don't have an in-house emulator, and they can't use a non-profit emulator because it's like, who are you paying? No one. You can't just drop Kega Fusion into a collection and use that. It makes it easier if Sega does it in-house, and I think they just haven't done it yet. Maybe when they finally figure it out, because I don't think they've ever released any 32X game, have they? Like the Tempo?
Didn't they put some 32X games on the Genesis Mini 2? Because I know there's some Sega CD games on there, but
there are Sega CD games, but I don't remember there being 32X games.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. Is it on Wikipedia? Is it on Wikipedia? Pretty? There were other 32X games. There were a lot of 32X games. There was Calibri. Calibri, which is about a hummingbird. It's like a spiritual successor to the Echo games. You've got Tempo, right? Isn't that what the name? It's like this really
Tempo,
good
the badass elephant.
platform. No, not that one.
It's like a
Tempo?
little cricket.
Right.
You know, I'm looking,
Alright,
and Kett, I forgot you should speak up, or I forgot you've been in this call the entire time. You just haven't been saying anything.
Well, I had to actually run an errand, so.
Oh, okay. All right, you're back.
I'm back now.
But you know, I may have
Right.
I may have misspoke, because I'm looking at the list on the official website, and I'm not seeing any 32X games, just a bunch of Sega CD games.
Right. There are. Well, there's only 40 32X games.
But
So you couldn't just release them all.
Well, no, because some of them were licensed, like Star Wars. The Star Wars arcade was on 32X.
Oh, that's fine. License it. Right. Yeah. Have any of these games been re-released elsewhere? And I guess it should also be like, which of these games are own or 32X exclusive? Let's see. There's
Knuckles Chaotix.
Afterburner. Right. Afterburner Complete. I mean, there are other Afterburners elsewhere. The Amazing Spider-Man Web of Fire. I don't even. It was developed by Blue Sky Software. Aren't they the guys who made Vector Man?
Is that the one that's like a remake of the Mega Drive game, and the actor, forgive me, I forget his name, Peter something, Faraday maybe, Master Splinter from the 80s TMNT cartoon voices the Kingpin in there, and there's a bad ending where Spider-Man and Mary Jane get slowly lowered into a vat of acid.
Oh, good.
Peak game in there, my friend.
I don't know if I've ever played this, so actually I'm not sure. The Amazing Spider-Man Web of Fire is a side-scrolling action-adventure game where the players control Spider-Man through 6 stages as he goes up against the terrorist organization Hydra.
Oh no,
Who's taking
different
all
game.
Nope.
Different game.
Different game.
Oh no, the one
Huh.
the one I'm thinking of was released just for the Sega CD. I
Oh, that makes sense because
that
you
one's
said
called
voices, and
I think that one's
Yeah.
also called Spider-Man versus the Kingpin. I think for the Sega CD.
yeah,
They might do medicine.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
I'm gonna look up the cutscene
Yeah.
and see if they show the bones.
Right. There were a few Spider-Man games. There was a regular old Spider-Man game on the Genesis. There was, of
Maximum
course,
Carnage.
the Maximum Carnage. Yeah. That was on the Super Nintendo as well, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
yeah. That was on the Super Nintendo.
It was all over the place, right? That was an era where they were like, oh, we got to turn major comic book arcs into video games, which I don't think they do anymore. Because there was also the death and return of Superman.
Yep.
That was.
You know what though? I'll say it was probably due. I think it was obviously done due to censorship, but I think Maximum Carnage, the video game, improves on some of the dialogue in the Maximum Carnage comic book. Maximum Carnage comic is it's a terrible fucking book, but there's one plot point that kind of goes nowhere, where the city of New York is getting more aggressive and angry, kind of like in Ghostbusters 2. And there's a moment in the comic book where like Spider-Man's fed up and he puts his hands in the air and he screams. He's like, fine, if you people want to act like devils, I'll treat you like devils. And it's like, that's terrible. In the video game, I guess probably because at that point a lot of video game companies were very wary of like referencing religion at all. They changed it to animals. And like, if you're gonna act like animals, I'll treat you like animals. Just sounds way more natural. Then if you're gonna act like devils, I'll treat you like devils. Just like, what the fuck does that even mean, Spider-Man?
Well, it's the 90s. You got to make it extreme.
What are you, a fucking exorcist right now? What's going on?
Oh man, why didn't they make a Nightfall video game? It's in the same era. You think they
I
would?
wonder. Maybe it's because at that point, unlike like in terms of the early 90s, unlike Superman and Spider-Man, Batman had a bunch of movies and cartoons. So it was just easier to adapt those things rather than, because like Superman didn't have a movie at that point. He wouldn't have a cartoon till like 98, and Spider-Man at that point didn't have anything until 95. So before like the Spider-Man animated series came out, most of the adaptations were more on the comics books. But then after the show came out, then you got a few like, this is based on the cartoon show. Hooray!
Right, I guess that's true. Right, there wasn't a lack of Batman games in that era. Batman had its own, Batman Forever was a beat 'em up. God,
Batman Returns, the games based on the animated series. Like Batman had.
Yeah, there were a couple. Yeah, right. There was the Sega CD one with its own animation, which was really neat.
Yeah, there's like 16 minutes of original animated, and it's all voiced by the same voice cast. I don't think it's the same music, because the music quality is nowhere near as good as the show itself was. But it's shockingly more violent than the cartoon was. Like the scene where it's technically just a plant, but the scene where Batman goes at Poison Ivy's like evil plant with an axe, and even though it is like green plant blood, that shit goes. It looks like a fucking horror movie in that sequence.
Right. Well, right. I don't know if it was Bruce Toomer or Paul Dini. One of them in an interview was like, "Oh yeah, because we didn't have to deal with network censorship. We were finally able to do things that we wanted to and couldn't, which is show Batman with an axe, I guess." Like they specifically mentioned that scene where like we never could have done this on Fox, but on the Sega CD, we definitely could. I guess it's the same thing with like. Mask of the Phantasm, like there's blood. I think doesn't the Joker actually kill someone in that movie?
Not on screen, but no, the Joker murders several people, never on screen. But you do see Batman kick out one of the Joker's teeth, and blood does just come pouring out of his face. Fucking love Mask of the Phantasm so much.
Right, because I think in the course of the regular animated series, they never say outright the Joker has killed someone.
No,
you don't get that until
in the new Batman Adventures.
In the new Batman Adventures they do, but they switched networks at that point. They were on Kids WB instead of Fox Kids, and they're like, "Oh, Kids WB will let us say the Joker killed someone."
I mean, like, you even see Batman, you even see the Joker point blank shoot Batman in the new Adventures. Like they were so lax when it came to like violence on Kids WB at the start. But yeah, I think in terms of the original animated series. Yeah, I don't think like the worst they ever got to was like his Joker toxin would like just make people like have that creepy grin, but like, they never flat out said he's killed anyone.
Right. Yeah. So they didn't do that until. Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, Fox Kids was like, no, don't do that. You can't actually have that happen. Why would you do that? And in some ways, it did benefit. Like in the audio commentary for Robin's Reckoning, when they do the flashback to his parents dying, they're like, oh yeah, originally we had the storyboard and you would see them fall and be on the ground and all that, and Fox came back and said you can't do that, so instead it was just like some shadows and implied, and then just like the reaction of the crowd, and they went, oh yeah, like at the end of the day it made that scene way more impactful than if we had just shown them fall and land. And it's like, sometimes having to deal with network censors does make more impactful art, but other times it can be very frustrating. Censorship is not 100%
bad. It's not 100% bad. It's just mostly bad. Sometimes it's good,
Right. Yeah, most of the time you're like, oh, I can't believe they're not letting me do this thing. But then other times, I don't know, let's say the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon, you go, okay, maybe Nickelodeon had a reason why they didn't let this be the thing that they were going to turn it into.
David, I've missed you this past year, but now I fucking hate you for reminding me that the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon was a thing. I just got that shit out of my mind. Now you bring it back. So
Right,
bad. Like who thought that was a good idea? That was so bad.
I don't know. At the time, I remember people being really excited because it was also back when people still liked John
They
Kay
didn't
to some
realize what a
degree.
complete piece of shit John Kay was.
Right, yeah. None of that had come out yet. And so, because John Kay was always someone who was very adamant about, oh, animation should be done by animators and storyboard artists, and you gotta keep those writers out of the room, which is like kind of extreme because when you think about, I don't know, like Batman, the animated series, like those are like Paul Dini is a writer. That's what he is first and foremost, and oh, you made one of the most important cartoons of the last 30 years.
Well, I think it's John Kay takes it to an extreme because I think with Batman
Yes.
they had a thing where the writers would write the scripts, but they always said the animation director, when it came to things like action sequences, if they could come if
Right.
they thought what was written on the page wouldn't work very well, they were free to change things. And I think
Right.
that's a good, because I think sometimes when you go the John Kay method, you get things like the adult party cartoons where some of the episodes go on for like 45 minutes and nothing is happening. It's just like, and I won't lie, like the animation in the adult party cartoons is pretty great for like network TV. That's some good animation right there. But so much of it is just like, what is happening? And it's just Ren and Stimpy making silly faces for 30 minutes, and it's like
Right.
that's not a story.
No,
Nothing is happening.
I think, yeah, there is a lot of just that, or like, oh, we're being rude, or
We're being edgy
there's-
for the sake of being edgy, not because it means anything to the overall plot or show itself. We're just doing stupid shit because we can.
Yeah, there was a period of time when I think some people looked at John Kay as being like the last true animator, which is probably never was the case. But he I think it's because he sort of tried to build a legend up around himself as being that. Like Ren and Stimpy is meant to be like classic cartoons. Like you remember Looney Tunes? Yeah, this is just the next step. But and I guess maybe it's because on the other side, like you had Tiny Toon Adventures, which is the, like that's just another installment essentially of what Looney Tunes is. But everyone.
But the
I mean,
Looney
I don't know
Tunes had
anyone who.
writers. Looney Tunes
They did have
had
writers.
It wasn't just Chuck Jones going, "What can I do today?" They had writers
No.
write out a story, and yes, Chuck Jones and the other directors would like change and embellish things, but it all started with a script, which is not always the case.
It did all start with a script.
with a John
Right.
Kay cartoon,
Right. There's this famous review,
of
infamous,
Animaniacs. That John
little
Kay
well known.
wrote.
Yes,
Yes.
the Animaniacs one. Yeah.
What a
Which is-
pretentious dickhead, man! Like seriously.
It was just him being like, and I guess maybe he was part of him was just upset that he couldn't do everything that he wanted to do, but at the same time, sometimes having a little bit of restraint, having some sort of, because I mean, like even the
Limitation.
original, what?
Limitations are healthy when you're being creative.
Yeah, because I
Also,
think
I'm like,
even
I don't understand him going out after Animaniac, because Animaniacs had fantastic. Not every episode, like
right,
we,
well, he hadn't
like,
even watched in.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. I forgot that. I'm like, Animaniacs was such a well animated show. Like you would think he would go after a crappily animated show, and not one of the best animated shows of the 90s. That made no sense to me. But yeah, of course, I forgot
Right.
he had not
Well, I
even,
think
he had
when
not
he
even
wrote-
watched the goddamn show.
Yeah.
But when he wrote that stupid review.
No, he was just upset at the mere idea that it wasn't strictly animators in the room, that somebody would dare invite a writer, and it's like, it's always, it's a mixture of things, and limitations is important. And I mean, even the original Looney Tunes, like I don't know a lot of the behind the scenes very well, but I'm sure that there were moments of like, oh, you can't do that, or we should pull back there, or even them going, hey, like we're doing wild stuff, but we still aren't going to do X, Y, and Z because we know it's not appropriate for what we're trying to do, even if we think it's funny. Sitting here
Well, it's just like,
talking to
we're
ourselves.
gonna have Elmer Fudd shoot Daffy in the face, but we're not gonna have a bunch of blood come out. We're gonna just have his beak go around his face too far, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Like there's still a very, very much an understanding of this is where the line is that we're making. And I mean, you know, Looney Tunes, they just churned out so much. There's like what, over 1,000 Looney Tune shorts, I think.
It's so hard to go through it on HBO on Max because they break it down into seasons, and it's like there's like 36 seasons, and I'm like, I just want to watch Duck Amuck again. Like, how can I get the Duck Amuck, please?
Where is it? Right.
I don't fucking know.
Well,
There's
I mean,
too many.
right. There are there's always the Blu-rays or the DVDs, although they don't really make them anymore.
I do have the first like 2 big sets they did on DVD. I used to watch them all the time. So good.
Right, the Golden
The
Collection.
Golden yes, I've got collections 1 and 2. They're real good.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, and then I guess they made the Platinum Collection, although most of the shorts on those are just the same from the Golden Collection. Like if you go on Wikipedia, it'll show you like, oh yeah, there aren't many new ones. But I guess a couple years ago they released a Bugs Bunny 80th anniversary Blu-ray set, which is apparently really nice because most of those shorts are new. And then there's a few that are like, well, you have to include these. There's no way you can't include these. But a lot of them are new, and then they took time to do all sorts of stuff with them.
Well, that's cool because I wanted to get the Fleischer Superman Blu-ray because you know,
right.
but apparently I only read one review, but it was from like a guy who like knows the technical aspects, and apparently he was like, they just don't look very good whatsoever. And it's like, what? Why would you put out on Blu-ray and not make it look good? You know, because the thing is, those things are public domain. David, if you and I wanted to, you and I could legally sell the Fleischer Supermans on a Blu-ray set, if we so choose. God bless the public domain.
That's true. That's right. Even though it is Superman, a still copyrighted character, the shorts themselves are public domain. That's also true of a few Looney Tunes shorts, like, I forget which ones. I think a couple have some very racist caricatures, which I think is why they kind of slip through the cracks. But so you probably don't want to sell those anyway. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Blu-ray. Oh right. Right. Recently, Disney did a 4K restoration of Cinderella because that movie on Blu-ray, I guess, looked really bad because they did a lot of like, just sort of like noise canceling and smoothing and like the colors were wrong.
Yes, I want to say, isn't her dress? Her dress is like a different color than it should be.
Right, the dress is a different color, and the lines of the dress, like in the, not just the outline, but the lines that are meant to be in the middle, like they were all gone. Everything was gone, and so they recently did a restoration, which I think is on Disney Plus now. Maybe it's available through like the Disney Movie Club, but they didn't. I don't know if it's like if you can go to Best Buy and buy it, but yeah, like they've released the new restoration where they restored the colors and they restored the line work, and they're like, oh hey, we should probably pay attention to this sort of thing. And I think maybe the Fleischer stuff suffered from what the previous Cinderella 1080 Blu-ray version suffered from, which is like
maybe, yeah,
all of those funny things, right? Where it's like, oh well, it has to look modern, and you're like, well, I mean,
not really.
It doesn't need to look modern, and you shouldn't have the modern be done at the expense of what the original creators intended it to look like. You know, it's the same thing when they try to make something that was in 4:3 and they go, oh, it's widescreen now.
I was literally,
and all they've done is dropped it.
I hate they did that. They remastered the whole of Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, and I want to say the actual how the show looks, like the colors, it looks really good. But they've zoomed it in to be widescreen. I'm like, no, you bastards, why? I fucking hate that.
There's no reason.
There's no...
Right.
It's like, it's like... I'm not sure if it is just because they have no faith. And not to generalize here, but if they have no faith, that if they put out a 4:3 image, that like a bunch of people are going to complain, like, the TV's not working correctly. And it's just like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. I am so far, like, I want to see something in its original aspect ratio, as far close, like, I want to show me how it originally looked, please, because as you said, that was the original creator's intent. Unless there's someone like James Cameron who comes back and makes like 1,000 different director's cuts, but just give me the original, you know.
Yeah. If they really feel insistent, yeah, that they need to have a widescreen version, I guess they could do what they did with The Simpsons when everyone complained.
Well, because
Like,
that one, because multiple jokes were cut out when they cropped it, when they zoomed
Yeah.
in, like multiple jokes were lost in there.
Yeah. So like, I'm okay with the compromise of having both. Like, oh, if you really think you need a widescreen version that zooms in,
Sure, but
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, it's just the reverse of, I guess, what they used to do. The pan and scan on VHS,
You know what's
where
crazy?
like,
But like,
oh, you're watching the original Ghostbusters, and they just crop out Winston. It's like, oh, he's up there. It's fine.
You know what's crazy though, because that is such an American thing. Because in England, we never got, we would just get it as in its original aspect ratio. So if it was a movie, it would just come out in widescreen. There would not be a full screen version at all. So much so that like when they released, I want to say when they put Buffy the Vampire Slayer definitely season 4, maybe season 3, because it was filmed in widescreen. In England, we got the DVDs in widescreen, but America got them still full screen because that's how they aired on television, and that's how he who shall not be named creator was like, that's the way I want it on TV, full screen, because I'm an idiot.
All right. Although I know there are certain shows that were like filmed in widescreen, but they only accounted for full screen. There's like
Malcolm in the Middle. There was
an
special
episode
feature on the first episode, on the first DVD, the only DVD release of Malcolm in the Middle, where Bryan Cranston narrates the special features, basically explaining that how they filmed widescreen, but it was meant to be full screen television, and so in some shots, there's just like crew members standing on the edge of the frame.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's also like episodes of Friends where, like, oh, you're in Joey and Chandler's apartment, and you look over and you just see like one of them standing in front of the door to the apartment. There's a hole in the wall because that's where they put the camera. And in 4x3 you would never see it, but it was filmed in '69. They put that on the DVD. You see a giant hole that's just looking into the hallway, and you're like, huh, that's weird. It's just little things. So like in those instances, you're like, well, you do have the 16:9. You could hypothetically use that and have it look right on modern stuff, but you're gonna run into weird, funny things, and like it's amusing. I don't know if it takes anyone out or if it's fine. Who knows? Who cares? Just have both, always, forever.
For something like live action sitcoms, I'm like, well, I don't care. I'm like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less. I couldn't care less if it's full screen or what, because like really that's not why no one watches a sitcom for the visuals, because they all look terrible. Not one American sitcom has good visuals, but like that's why I liked when Paramount remastered Star Trek. They kept them 4x3. Like they formatted it in a widescreen setting, but the picture itself is just 4x3. Good stuff.
Yeah. So you're saying that in Full House, in the finale, when Michelle was thrown off her horse and she lost her memory, that wasn't cinematically shot in a beautiful manner that made you shed tears? It made you wonder if she actually lost her memory for good?
Are you telling me the last episode of Full House is a clip show? Did they just
what?
Is the last episode of Full House a clip show? Did they just show scenes from the previous episodes to get her memory back?
There's some.
Oh my god, that's so bad!
Well, there's also it's one of the few times that they had both Olsen twins on the same in the same shot.
I was just about to say, who was it? Was it Ashley or Mary Kate that got thrown off the horse?
Well, I forget who got thrown off the horse because I wouldn't know that. But there was a shot where you have the one who got thrown off the horse and she's sitting on her bed and she's like, huh. And then you have the other Olsen twin walk on screen and sits down with her and it's like, I'm your memory. And then they do some flashback stuff and then they like, I guess, merge back together. And then she comes downstairs and is like, hey guys, and does that casual thing of saying something that she shouldn't know because she lost her memory, proving that she regained her memory, and everyone's like, Michelle, you remember your memory, and Danny Tanner is just like, we're a family forever. And then Steve shows up and takes DJ to the prom, because through the entire season DJ and Steve weren't together because they needed to have more love drama, even though why would you ever break up with Steve? He's Aladdin.
To tie this into Sonic, one of Jason Griffith loves the character of DJ Tanner from Full House. That's why in a few different projects, one that comes to mind is the Iron Man Extremis motion comic, for which he voices Tony Stark Iron Man. He goes by DJ Tanner in there.
Really?
Yep, he's a big fan. Somebody clearly didn't watch my interview with him from a decade ago. He brings that up, David. That hurts.
Or I might not remember.
You remember
anything
every fucking minute thing that's ever happened in the Sonic franchise. How could you forget that, David?
I don't remember everything. Like, I don't remember who the writers are for Sonic Prime, but I watched it.
That show has writers?
Technically.
That show...
There's like 3 of them.
That show feels like a script written by AI. It really does.
There are...
It's like 3 writers. They all share the same writing credits.
Oh, Man
for
of
the
Action.
Same 2
that's
shows.
so dumb, man.
Like,
It is the Man of
yeah,
Action
like
people.
I think that's their entire body of work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how that's how Man of Action works. They're all like, we are in a pool and we all work on the different projects, which is kind of like, oh, okay, I guess.
Most of them are terrible.
I wish Sonic Prime was better. I think it's better than Mega Man all charged up.
Fully
or whatever it's
charged.
called.
It's not hard to be better than Mega Man fully charged. Let's be fair now.
Well,
One of my biggest problems with Prime, it's just that if I'm fixing the camera here, it's just that Sonic's a moron in that show. It's like, let's be fair now, Sonic. Sonic's not like a rocket scientist. He's obviously not as smart as like fucking like Tails or Eggman, or I'd say even Rouge, but they really make him an idiot in Prime, and it's just like, what? I'm in an alternate dimension like the other 4 ones I was in? What? I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is so like.
Oh yeah.
I know it's a kid
It
show.
really
I know it's a kid show, and none of us in this call, the 3 of us, are not the target demographic for that show. I get that. I fully get that. But you still didn't have to write Sonic as a bumbling moron for most of that show.
Being for kids, it still is a story that doesn't really hold water. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it contradicts itself. And there's plenty of children's media that is competently written.
That's right. We were talking about some earlier. Right. Sad AM is a bit more. I think it's more competently written, definitely, than Prime.
The quest for the KSN World arc from Adventures is better written than most of Prime is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Adventures of is great.
I love Adventures.
Yeah. It recently celebrated its 30th anniversary.
Do you have the Blu-ray?
I don't have the Blu-ray yet.
Oh, the Blu-ray's great. You should get that. And then I need to get the Japanese X Blu-ray as well.
All right. I got that. I got the Japanese X Blu-ray because I'm like, okay. I've never sat through all of Sonic X, and I'm like, I figured maybe this is it, because like,
watch it in a language I don't understand. Genius. Let's do it.
Right. Well, that's how I first watched it when it started airing in Japan before it started airing in English. People put it on the internet, downloaded real player files. Remember Real Player? Real Player is what GameTap was connected to, which of course is the only place Knuckles Chaotix was re-released on. And watched episodes that didn't even have subtitles yet or dub titles. Like it was just, I'm watching a show in Japanese starring Sonic the Hedgehog. And then there were a couple people who would write summaries, But one of the people who wrote the summaries didn't speak Japanese, so they were also just kind of guessing as to what was actually happening in the show. So
Who was
not
that?
that was Blaze. He
Ah, Blaze.
he was like, here's a summary of what's going on, and only later did I go, wait, I don't think Blaze knows Japanese. How is he doing this? Yeah, so we right, so I watched the first 10 11 episodes like that, and then eventually started airing in English. But what would happen for the longest time is I would get up to the point where the next episode was the baseball one, and I would see the preview for them saying, we're gonna go play baseball,
For a Chaos
and I just
Emerald.
went, I think I'm done. And that's where I would stop every
Oh my
single
God.
time.
That's where we stopped.
That's where we stopped. Exactly. That's where we stopped last time we were
I
watching
didn't realize that
It's
that's
the
what had
same
originally happened.
same place every single time. I'm like, I am
That's
done
where
with
my
this show.
soul just gives out, and I
Right. Like,
I don't know
what
why
is-
it's so hard, because I've had the same issue as David. Haven't been
Yeah.
able to watch through
Because it's
it
dumb.
for whatever
But
reason.
But one thing I actually really like about like the first chunk of X episodes is that I love that for the most part, for a lot of them, Sonic's not a part of the plot. Like, they treat Sonic as like the Deus Ex Machina who just saves the day at the end. He'll be doing his own thing, and he'll be like, oh, Eggman's got a machine and he's trying to kill Amy. All right, I'll go stop that, and then he goes back to his own thing. I wouldn't want X to become modern Sonic's personality, but as like a different version of Sonic. I actually really like X's personality. For a lot of times he just wants to sleep and just doesn't give a fuck about what's going on like anywhere.
Oh, yeah, his
I really
personality.
like that about him.
His personality is great. The issue I think with the format of the show is that it just was really, really boring, because Sonic was just sleeping, and then we have to instead deal with this rich kid and his parents, who, by the way, like, I don't think they could decide whether or not they wanted Chris's problem, his situation, to actually feel tragic to us and sad, and like, or a parody, like something absurd, because
Like, his parents love him.
you know,
Like, they don't mistreat him.
his
They're just
mother-
both working a lot.
No. I mean, like, in terms of the kind of story they're trying to tell, it oscillates. It sort of goes back and forth between, we're supposed to feel sorry for Chris because his parents make him feel lonely.
Because his mother's a smoking
but
hot
then-
babe. There, I said it.
But then there's scenes where it's just so absurd and off the wall, the way that they act. Are we supposed to feel sad? So it's like there's conflicting tones in the show as well, in addition to it feeling really empty, because it's Sonic who's been sucked into this human world, and it's just, I mean, I don't think anything to me was as exciting as the first half of the first episode.
Right.
But yeah.
It's a great opening. It's a great
Yeah.
that first episode. I mean, even once he enters the real world, I think it's still good. It's just then it diverts to, this is the story of Chris Thorndike, and I mean, plenty of people have said time and again, and I mean, I think maybe it would have been a good thing. It's like, instead of Chris being the point of view character, it probably should have been Helen, the girl in the wheelchair. Like, I've heard this from other people, and I'm like, I think I agree, because it is sort of,
That's one of the best
I guess it's-
episodes. I love that, because
Right.
that to me it shows up like his Sonic's personality. It was like, please, the most powerful person in the world wants you to come to his party, and he's like, nah, I'm gonna go pick some flowers, get fucked. Like, that's so. I love that personality about him. It's so great.
yeah, I've definitely seen some later episodes. I've seen the episode where he's on the cruise ship and Sonic's freaking out
That's a good
because
episode.
he's surrounded by water.
That's a good episode.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 adaptations. I've never sat through the whole thing beginning to end, but I've watched parts of it. And once I think I saw a single episode near the end of the Metarex saga when it was on television, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure what's happening. I'll stop.
Also, the Japanese version obviously the 4Kids stuff, edited stuff, in the Japanese version of the SA2 adaptation, there's a subplot where like they track down the gun soldier who shot Maria, and he has like PTSD from that encounter. And it's like this is a bit heavy for a children's cartoon about talking blue hedgehog, but okay. Let's go.
I hope that's in the movie. I want that in
I
Sonic
want to
3.
see a 10-year-old get shot in the face by the American military. Give us that, Paramount, you cowards.
She's 12 and she got shot like in the I always say she got shot in the back, but I think maybe she actually got it was either the back or like maybe the front abdomen.
I think it's the stomach because in SA2 I think we see her full like backwards. So I think she was shot in the gut. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So she doesn't get shot in the face.
Could you imagine a Sonic game releasing today where they introduce a new character with that kind of backstory? Sega would never do that today. Like, here's a brand new character. His best friend was shot by the military, and now he's upset about it. Like, they would never fucking do. Eggman's cousin was murdered by the military. Like, what the fuck is this franchise?
A little upset. I get why Shadow's upset. I get it. I don't blame him. But I mean, hey, if the next movie is using SA2 elements, we know Shadow's going to be in it. We know that they introduced it by saying, 50 years ago. So like,
guns
seems
involved.
That's what they're doing.
G-Wins involved.
Right. I mean, I want to see Olive Garden Man. I want a scene where he's like in the mirror and then he takes out. You realize he has just the one contact lens, and so he actually does have the what is it, the Chromatica eye? Yeah, and he's like, oh. And then he tells this story where he once saw a child get shot when he was also a child, or something.
So I think Jessica just came back. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. I'm going to end the stream in a second, but Dave, I want to end it just by asking you and Kett both this question. Do you think they're gonna tie it into Robotnik's grandfather? Do you think they will bring? Do you think they will have Keanu? You confused me there, Maddie. Do you think they will have? Do you think they will have Gerald Robotnik? Like whether he's shown on screen or not, but do you think they will have him referenced in the thing at all? Because to me, it would make more sense as they already have this version of Robotnik working for the military. To me, that makes that you could like. Neatly tie that in, as opposed to it just being in SA2. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, he also had a grandfather,
Yeah. I think we're gonna see Gerald. I don't know if it'll be briefly, or if it will be long, or if it'll just be like a photograph. I don't know if it'll be a photograph or we get actual scenes with him, but I think they're going to.
What if it's
make
just a
some
photograph
reference.
of the photograph from SA2? So it's like Dreamcast models, and then Jim Carrey's holding it up.
Right, he's like, oh, Agent Stone, this is what I think my grandfather looked like.
I also think that they're gonna.
I think
he'll be in it in some way.
Yeah. If they're doing the 50 years ago stuff, if it's Shadow, this might be the closest we've gotten to just a straight up adaptation of one of the games.
Since Sonic X.
Which I'm right. Well, I mean in the movies.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yes. Because I mean, there's plenty of stuff in Sonic 2 that's taken from the games, but it's not a direct adaptation.
Not narratively, just like set pieces.
No.
Of character. Yeah. No, I get you.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I guess Knuckles' arc in some ways, but it's also still different. He's not the Knuckles from the games. He's not from Angel Island. He doesn't guard the Master Emerald.
I love Idris Elba Knuckles. One of my favorite versions of that character. But But it's like, they've said, the writers have said they're pulling from SA2 and Shadow's game. Black Doom reference? Black Doom in like the black arms in this movie, you think?
Uh-oh. Unless that's the post-credit scene.
Oh my god, the black. On that bombshell, I think I want to thank everyone for joining me. We've been streaming for like 2.5 hours. Thank you so much. David, Kett, you guys are back. Welcome anytime. I might do it again next Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. But I'll let you guys know. Thank you everyone for joining. You guys want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Gareth. Thank you. It was nice talking to you, Gareth.
Yes, thanks for
I
having
missed
us.
you guys. I love
Yes,
you. You guys come back.